Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Living in Fear podcast. Are we saying the podcast? Or are we just saying another episode of Living in Fear?
Um, I I feel like the actual name is just Living in Fear, but you can say podcast if you want. Sometimes I just say Living in Fear, a horror film podcast.
Okay.
That's usually what I say.
Got it. Okay. Well, welcome
I'll,
to
what?
this thing that we are doing, that we are recording about a
Oh,
film. My name's Luis,
I'm Mia.
and today we're gonna be talking about a movie called Noroi, The Curse from 2005.
I'm just happy you said that because you say it nicer than I do.
Really?
I'll just leave it at that. Also, why did you sound like the guy from Independence Day when you did the intro?
Wait, what?
Why, boys?
Hello, boys.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
you sounded like.
back. Yeah. Or maybe I was trying to do that.
Okay.
Anyway, hi Mia.
Hi.
What have you been up to this week?
Do you really want to get into that?
I mean,
Playing
you
Hollow Knight?
you can talk about that. I won't say anything.
You could say. I've been playing Hollow Knight and I've been kind of hating
Hmm.
it. I have a love-hate relationship with it
Yes.
because
That
I'm just not very good at it.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. I don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stay away. I like distance myself from you playing it sometimes. And hopefully, it'll get better and you'll start liking it more as you push through the the you know, the difficulty of it.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is, you know me, I'm stubborn,
Hmm.
so I don't like help. I think I've asked for help a decent amount. I think I'm a lot more open to help on this. Like, and if it was a different game, I wouldn't want any clues or anything. Whereas this, I'm like, spoil this thing for me. I don't care. I just need help.
Yeah.
I just get very frustrated with games where you die and have to like go back and lose stuff. And I've just been spoiled and am used to the games now with
Hmm.
more instant gratification. And I know that, but I don't know. I guess when I just have like a limited amount of time to like play a game, sometimes I just want it to be like nice and relaxing and not stressful because my day can be stressful enough. And
Hmm.
then to play a game that's like stressing me out, it's just hard. But if I completely hated it, I wouldn't continue.
Yeah.
There's aspects that I really like about it. So that's why I keep going. And I will probably be stubborn and play the entire thing and just be a child that's very frustrated and gets very grumpy as I lose. But
I,
we'll leave it at that.
I mean, just take your time with it. You don't have to like rush to finish it. It could take us a whole year to finish it. You never know.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
I don't want you to feel like you need to get through this one part today, or
I
like
just like ending on a good note. So
yeah.
that's where I have a hard time. Like it's really hard to like, leave off on like after dying or something. I'm like, no, I just want to get through this part and then I'll be okay. And then sometimes it takes a really long time to get through the part, or I get through it and then think I can just go like, one screen over and then or something else. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this. I totally get why you're frustrated. I know I understand this is not your type of game. Like this is why you don't play Dark Souls or any of those hard games. Um, but I while those games are partly people play them because of the difficulty,
Hmm.
Hollow Knight is a just a beautiful, great game that happens to be difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's why I wanted you to play it because there's just a lot to it. And
yeah.
and once
And
once go ahead.
I know that that's why this is the game that you have, not going to say pushed, but you have encouraged me to play because you really love it and you love the story and you
Hmm.
want me to be able to experience that story and benefit from it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll just keep updating every once in a while to see
Yeah.
if I finish it. I'm just routine based though. So like once I start something and like do it enough in a day, like repeatedly for multiple days in a row, I just want to keep doing that thing.
Yeah. Well, me, I mean, sometimes when I'm playing difficult games, I am losing to a boss battle like constantly and I can't get past it, but then I sleep on it and then the next day I beat it like first try.
Oh yeah, and I've definitely done that too. I just I feel like I'm not as often frustrated
Hmm.
by something. Like even God of War with the Valkyrie Queen, I had a really hard time, but the rest of the game I didn't. So it was like I was really frustrated in that, and then I like put it down and went to bed, and then beat it the next day without much of a problem. But this one just even the basics are like difficult for me, so I just have a really hard time adjusting to that.
Anyway, that's been our Hollow Knight adventures. Cool. What else? I guess I should say what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing? Um, I did record a podcast on my own. I I'm trying to do a book to a yeah, a booktube. I think that's what it's called. It's a YouTube channel where you talk about books. But I wanted to do it in a because there's many booktube channels out there, many video game channels, and I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying to combine the two, and I'm not sure how to do that just yet. And like the first video I recorded was me just talking about Absolution by Jeff Vandermeer and playing a game, playing Starfield. And I purposefully landed on a jungly planet and just kind of roamed around because Absolution takes place in a foresty type area.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure where that is going yet. I'm gonna do my second one on Spin, which is a 2005 novel that won the Hugo Award, and I'm probably gonna do the same thing with it. I'm trying to maybe do something more structured than just me just ranting about a book or just having this stream of consciousness discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spin is really, really awesome.
Are you going to play Starfield while you do that then?
I might try a different game. I might actually start playing No Man's Sky again.
Isn't there like a new thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a big update, and the from
Yeah.
from what it looks like, the vistas are just incredible. But yeah, I might do that.
Okay.
As far as that, what else have I been doing? I've been trying to finish a short story that I've been working on for a while, and I have a deadline of February 15th. We're recording this on the 30th of January, so I have
Like
15 days.
2 more weeks.
Yeah, 2 more weeks. Because I always submit it to this w workshop that I really want to get into. I submit it every year, and it's just really hard to get into. And but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this story makes it. I'm
Fingers crossed.
I'm
I would
having
like to do that.
yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble finishing it. I th like you start writing something and then you kind of get what it's about and then midway you're like, "Oh, then I this is what it's about." And then you start rewriting everything.
I mean, that's kind of my favorite thing with writing. Not that I write really, but that I hear other people talk about too. And I guess anytime I have tried to write, it's the experience of like where the story just starts writing itself almost.
Mhm.
Like that's it's fun, you know, how it develops like that and how you never know exactly where it's going. You can have these ideas and then it just kind of becomes its own thing. But I like your stories.
Thanks, Mia. You're the only
I'm
one
not,
that's ever said that.
you know, that's not true. You've gotten awards for stuff. That poem
Yeah.
read in front of everyone, and I think you have really good characters and they feel realistic and genuine and I like your stories. I think they're unique. And you know, I can be picky.
Yeah. Yeah, writing is just it's just such a solitary activity, and
Hmm.
you just sit at your computer and you just write, and you don't know where it's going, and you don't know if anybody's gonna see it. You don't know. Sometimes you don't even know who you're writing for. Like, who do you want this? Who do you want to read this? You know?
Yeah.
And so you never know if it's good. Like you think it's good, but it could be really bad. But you never know until you finally release it out for other people to see.
Yeah.
And I know I'm sure you'll say great things about this story that I'm writing now. But sometimes I wonder if it's just because she's my wife and she's just doing it. Is it to not hurt my feelings?
I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of like unconscious bias more going into it. Like I'm going into it expecting to like it or wanting to like it.
Hmm.
But if I genuinely didn't, I would say so.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's been certain parts where like, you know, I've just haven't gotten something or just thought you could do better. There was like one short story that was like comical and
Hmm.
I did not find it like funny. Like I didn't know it was supposed to be funny as I read it and then you told me that and I was like, "Oh, because that's just not my thing. That's not the type of thing I'm into." Do you know
Mm.
which one I'm talking about?
Is it the one about the aliens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That one I was like, it's written well. It's just I don't necessarily like it because it's just not for me. Like that wasn't the type of thing I would like read and I just it didn't click with me, so I didn't really get it and I didn't understand what you were going for versus somebody that was more into that type of thing.
Mm.
I think it would have really hit well with, but yeah.
I mean, it's probably not, it's probably really bad. If I go look at it now, reread it, it's probably not great. Comedy's really hard to write.
Yeah.
Like a,
I mean,
I mean,
and
like,
that was sci-fi comedy.
yeah, like a
So,
book is most publishers do not take comedic books at all
yeah.
because it's just really hard to write and you need some
Comedy is so much in the delivery.
yeah. It's only like even I think even like Isaac Asimov, his books are really funny. And he has, he's, you know, talking about stuff on a deeper level and about humanity as a whole, but he's also really funny and has funny dialogue. But he didn't always start that way. And in fact, he only when he was established, I believe he was like, okay, now I'm gonna write something funny, and they're just gonna have to take it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But see, I would be honest if I don't like something.
Well, I hope you like this next one.
Okay. Well, once you finish it, you'll have to let me read it. You want to get into our questions?
Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I don't know if we're doing horror specific questions, but I know you mentioned that we're probably just gonna run out of stuff to talk about. So this one's kind of horror though.
Yeah, I would say so.
What are some of the worst injuries you've had?
I don't know why I think this is like a fun question, kind of unique. Um, I mean, I feel like you know them. I broke my arm when I was, gosh,
Yeah.
how old was I? Like 9, 10 or something? It was,
Yeah.
I think I had 1 day of school left before summer break. And my oldest brother decided to do the people's elbow onto the ground, and my arm was up and he landed right on it. And I saw it like move into a really weird position and then move back, and I just like looked at it and held it and like screamed because it freaked me out so bad. And the pain, I don't even remember the pain. It was just like the way it looked was like that's not what that was supposed to do. And then my dad didn't believe that it was broken because he likes to play off things like that. Like he's not someone that goes to the doctor easily. I'm not either, but there comes a certain point when, and even my little 9, 10-year-old self was like, nah, man, it's broken. There's something wrong with it. I can't bend it this way. Like, so he gave me some like ice, which we never had ice in our house growing up. So it was probably like some type of cool pack or something like a lunch box freezer block thing.
You probably went to the neighbor's house to get ice.
Yeah. And put that on it, and I was just like laying in bed watching TV until finally I was like, Dad, it's broken.
Yeah.
Like, can we go? And so he took me to the doctors, and sure enough, I had a fracture and had to get a cast on and wear that for it's like 4 to 6 weeks. And I
D-
just remember saran wrapping it and going to the beach and holding my arm up out of water, like jumping through waves. Like it was so silly. But yeah. And then the other one was in 5th grade. I got burned by a hot glue gun
Hmm.
making a turkey for Thanksgiving. And I was doing it with my teacher, and I had my hand flat on the desk. Same arm, my left hand again. It was my left wrist that broke, and it was my left hand that got the hot glue on it. Um, and I was just sitting there, my quiet little self. I was really shy as a kid, still am. And she added a new hot glue stick and was pushing that in. And so the glue was being pushed out the tip and just running down onto my hand. And I just like it I I don't even think I moved my hand.
Yeah.
I think I just stood there and went, ow, ow, ow. And then she finally like looked and was like, oh my gosh, and grabbed because it was like on top of newspaper. And she like grabbed the newspaper and like smeared it to get it like off of my hand.
Yeah.
And then I was just um I think my mom was working at the school at that time. She was like a teacher's aide or something. So she was there and drove me to the hospital, and in a bucket of ice water sitting in my lap with my hand in it on the way to the hospital. And then I just remember passing an orchard on the way and seeing a coyote.
Oh, really?
And that was like that was the first time I'd ever seen a coyote in real life. And I was just like, oh my gosh, a coyote. And that was like my big thing I
Yeah.
remember from it. And then again, having to have my hand gauzed and put like the burn cream on it for like a couple weeks. So
What did it look like, the injury with the glue gun?
um I remember it being like just like white tissue exposed or something. Like it was I think it was a 2nd-degree burn.
Hmm.
I don't think it was a third. It might have, I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was 2nd-degree, but yeah, on that same hand, because I still have a pretty like gnarly scar. It's between my ring finger and my pinky finger. And on the same hand below that, right where the fingers connect, is a different scar. that I had slid on concrete and like scuffed that area.
Yeah.
And that again was an area that like just like looked like white tissue under there, like when it got cut. And I don't even remember having that one bandaged or anything. I just remember that like happening and looking at it and just being like weird because it like wasn't bloody or anything. It was just like I don't know. I'm not very. I don't have a lot of medical knowledge, but yeah, that one's scarred about the same.
Hmm.
So a lot of people think that that's part of my hot glue gun burn, and it's not. So yeah, that was fun.
For some reason, I thought the broken arm was due to you falling off the tree, but that was a different thing, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was very accident prone as a child, and that's probably why my parents like didn't want to like always take me to the hospital. When I fell out of the tree, I had to take an ambulance ride to the hospital. I was fine. I told them
Yeah.
I was fine. I think they were worried I had like internal bleeding or something because I bit the inside of my lip, so there was blood coming out of my mouth.
Hmm.
And it like knocked the wind out of me hardcore, but
Yeah.
I was fine. I was just sore for a couple weeks. Yeah, I've had a lot of injuries. I'm pretty clumsy. What about you? I know yours.
Do you?
Your finger, yeah?
Oh yeah, my finger. Okay, so let me.
Were you gonna say something
Yeah,
else?
I was gonna say something else.
Did you
I
forget about your finger?
No, I had that one in mind too,
Oh, okay.
but there's another one. I don't know if I've told you about this one. It was when I was very little, and my cousin Lucha, she used to work at a laundromat, and 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 me and her son, Javi, we used to just kind of run around at the laundromat, and we were
Mm-hmm.
running, and I remember I hit one of the the washing or the dryers. One of the doors of the dryers was open, and I hit like the handle with my head, and it
Ooh.
just like gashed my head.
Ooh.
And I don't think I went to the hospital, but it was really bad. There was a lot of bleeding.
Yeah, head wounds bleed a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and she took me to the back of the laundromat where she like has all her stuff, like her cleaning stuff, and I remember just being over the big sink and her just trying to like wash off the head wound.
How
And
old was she?
how no, she was like in her late 20s probably, 30s.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, that's probably my first traumatic injury that
Yeah,
I
you've
can
never told me that.
I don't think I ever went to the hospital though. I think they just I don't,
How old?
I think it was actually not that bad, but just when you see a bunch bleeding, it was just
Yeah, when you first initially get it, it's
yeah.
like, yeah. So how old were you?
Oh God. I was
I mean,
probably I want to
was it in Mexico?
no, no, it was
Oh, okay.
here. It was from probably between 4 and like 7 years old. Yeah.
At a range. Do you want to
Uh
talk about your finger?
yeah, so my finger I cut it with the knife one time by accident and it cut a tendon. It cut my index finger on my left hand. I cut the tendon, and the tendon's just like it's like a rubber band. So if you cut it completely, it'll just slingshot in both directions. And yeah, when my stepdad saw the cut, he was like, "Yeah, we gotta go to the hospital." And sure enough, yeah, that's when we figured out that the tendon was cut, and I remember the doctor had to like reach in all the way in my wrist, like close to my wrist, to try to pull it out and tie it back. It was crazy,
Maybe
apparently.
we should have started with a disclaimer.
I mean, we're talking about horror movies,
I know, but we're getting so gross.
but
Yes.
the most traumatic part is that
Yes.
when they were in surgery, I,
Ugh.
I was awake for the whole thing.
Ugh. You weren't supposed to be.
No, I wasn't supposed to be. I was one of those. It's like that one movie with Hayden Christensen. What's that movie?
I think it's just called Awake, right?
Awake. That's right. Actually,
Where they put him down for a like surgical procedure. He's
mhm,
supposed to be like
asleep.
under, and then he wakes up, but he can't move or speak or anything, but he's completely aware and like feels stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he overhears a plot to like take his money or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I felt the whole thing.
Ugh.
Like I know it was numb, so I didn't feel like crazy pain. I just remember like somebody poking at it.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's like when they numb you at the dentist and like you don't feel the pain, but you can still feel like pressure and stuff, and it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. I don't think you ever told me the part about the tendon.
Really?
Yeah, maybe that like you cut it, but not about like the fact that it's like a rubber band and he had to go down into your wrist
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff. Like, oh my gosh.
Till till this to this day, I still can't quite bend it correctly.
Mm.
Then another one, I broke my clavicle once skating.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't as crazy. I just fell on the skateboard and I thought it was fine, and my shoulder area or my clavicle area was hurting a little bit, but then the pain got really bad, and I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. But other than that, I think that's it as far as injuries. I had a near one when I used to be a BMX biker, biker. And yeah, I tried to do like a wheelie and then I just fell backward and hit my head really hard, the back of my head. But I was wearing a helmet and the helmet just cracked open like in two pieces. So if I wasn't wearing a helmet, I probably would have mental damage right now.
Don't they say that like once you like hit your head wearing a helmet, even if the helmet like doesn't break, like you should get a new one because they are they are only like good for like so long and
Yeah,
so much like damage.
yeah, probably that's probably true. I mean, I knew I needed to get a new one because it was
Well,
broken.
yes. But had it not broken, you still, got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Also, just does it like show our age that that's like something of when we were skating and when we were doing BMX and
Oh yeah, we
those
were
are like our phases,
skating, BMX. My big thing was
rollerblades.
I never did rollerblades.
See, we did it a little. I was never very good. My brother, of course, got way better, but we watched like Brink and all that, and then, it's like, oh yeah, rollerblades.
So yeah,
Wonder
that's.
what
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I wonder what the phases are now for kids and teenagers and stuff, wanting to be like a YouTuber.
Uh-huh. Yeah, probably teenagers these days always go through that YouTube phase, right?
Streamers,
Or like that, yeah, influencer phase.
podcasters.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
going through our podcast phase right now in our 30s.
yeah. All right. My question is related to today's movie
Oh, nice.
because it's a found footage. I want to know how you feel about found footage as a genre, and then what's your favorite. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a horror film. I guess there's like other ones that are found footage that aren't. They usually are,
Mm-hmm.
or there's, some that are like more monster movies that aren't complete horror movies, but there's also some like comedic films I feel like that are more like found footage or like mockumentaries, or I don't know that that really counts, but
The Office. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess I wouldn't be like complete found footage. That's, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. This one's easy for me. It's Rec 1 and Rec 2.
Yeah,
Can
I
I
knew that was where you're going.
can I
So do
just
you like found footage?
I like found footage, yeah.
Okay.
I love. Can I pick two? I'm picking two. Rec 1 and Rec 2. I think I still love Rec 2 the best though.
Okay,
Probably
can we rewatch it?
probably because I have the most nostalgia for it.
Hmm.
Because I really loved Rec 1 and I remember when Rec 2 came out and my friends and I we had this whole day planned to watch the premiere of Rec 2 and we just thought it was incredible.
I mean,
Because
that's cool when a movie lives up to the hype that you have, you know.
because we're yeah, the thing was we're also really into video games and it does kind of play out like a video game because the SWAT team that goes in, everybody's wearing their cameras like on their helmet, and you switch back and forth and see what they're up to. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's got that like first person shooter type
Mhm.
look to it. I don't
But
even remember the second, so we need to rewatch it.
maybe we can do that for one of our podcasts.
Okay.
But yeah, Rec 1 and Rec 2. I think overall, I really like the unique take of the genre as well.
Yeah.
You know, having it be almost like a demony religious aspect to it, which I don't think I had ever seen in zombie movies before.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one just takes it up a notch, just completely
Yeah.
takes the last bit of Rec 1 and says, "Okay, this is even bigger than you thought."
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the other ones though. Rec 3, Rec 4.
Rec 3 started out okay. The intro was cool,
hmm
and then it went away from found footage, and it was weird.
I
Yeah.
I don't know why they deviated from that. That was
I don't know.
that's what they it made the this whole movie cool. This whole franchise is a found footage franchise, and all of a sudden they just decided not to do it.
I think found footage has that thing where it's easy to do low budget. I mean, the Blair Witch Project, was like the first like big thing, low budget, got a huge audience draw though, and like made a lot of money for like how small the budget was. So then everybody else is like, oh, we can do the same thing. We can just like throw just a little bit of money at this thing and make a found footage film and people will see it. And so there's a lot of like bad ones out there. I don't like Blair Witch. Sorry. Um, I get why people like it.
Yeah.
I saw it as like a little kid and just didn't find it scary. And I had all these adults around me like thinking it was real. And
Uh-huh.
even me as a kid was like, no, it's not. So I think that's just part of what made me not like it. Maybe if I'd rewatch it, I would. I don't know.
I don't think I
Um,
remember Blair Witch at all.
the thing about it was like the woods in it just looked like the woods by my house growing up. So like you would think it would have made it really scary for me, but it didn't for some reason. I don't know. I just didn't find it scary at all. I guess I was just young and so I just found it kind of boring because not a lot happens. But there's there's a lot I like found footage. I like even
hmm
when they're not great, they're it's a fun premise, so I like seeing it.
Yeah.
Um
So what's your favorite?
I would say as far as a found footage movie goes, I really like As Above, So Below and Wreck.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to decide like just what's my favorite overall between those two, right now probably As Above, So Below, but just in the found footage, like I think they're both done really well and like how I would want them to be done. Cloverfield is also
Oh yeah.
Cloverfield was really freaking good.
Shout out to Cloverfield.
So that's like, up there with them, but I think just at this time in my life I crave like horror movies more, so maybe that's why I lean towards those. And then of course, Rec is like in Spanish, so like I can't enjoy it to the same extent I can a movie where I understand the language the whole time.
hmm
When I'm reading subtitles, I don't get to like always just see everything that's happening on screen. But like yeah, Rec had like really it felt realistic in the acting and everything. I think as above, so below, sometimes you feel like you're watching actors, but Wreck, I think you just feel like you're watching like these people, like all the people in the housing area and stuff. They're like just feel like real people that like you would like have as your neighbors and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool. Cool. Shout out to Cloverfield again. That was my close second.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I just I just remember the like viral campaign that they had was incredible.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a movie that if you rewatch, you'll probably find new things, you know?
Yeah.
And then the trailer for a while was like so that's how trailers should have stayed, you know? They just didn't give anything away.
No.
But yeah,
Do
cool.
we want to do our little word game real quick?
Oh yeah, so let's get into the movie, but first we're gonna play our word game, and that's where we try to summarize this movie in 5 words or less. Let me see where I put my words. Okay, here they are.
I don't know how much I'm like exactly summarizing. I'm just choosing words that like
Represent this film. Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Represent, summarize. Who knows what we're calling this game? Okay. Who starts first? You starts first this time, right?
um
I think so.
yes, yes. No, you.
Me?
Uh-huh. It's the one who does the introduction
Okay.
because I did three last time.
Okay, I'm gonna go the safe route. Found footage. That's one
Okay.
word. That's a compound word, right?
Sure. I was thinking of that anyway. So, um I'm gonna go ritual.
Cool. I'm gonna go something weird. Fetuses.
Okay. I've got something even weirder.
Okay.
Worms.
Worms. I have a question about that, but okay. Found footage, rituals, fetuses, worms. How about is demony a word?
Sure.
Discord says it's not a word. Demonly is a word. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So this movie is a found footage movie. There's some rituals in it, and at some point there are fetuses all over the place, and there are a few worms related things which I still have questions about, and it's very demonly. That was a terrible description of it, but
Did they call it ectoplastic worms or did it say ectoplasmic?
oh, I don't know.
I feel like it like might have the subtitle might have been I think it's supposed to be ectoplasmic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like
Ectoplasmic is an
yeah.
adjective that describes something related to ectoplasm, a substance or layer that can refer to the outer layer of a cell or a supernatural substance.
Yeah. Isn't that like Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Ectoplasm. Like that's what I was thinking of, but I feel like the subtitle said like ectoplastic or something at one point. I was like, what? All right. Well,
Uh,
you chose this one. Do you want to did you didn't say the summary yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get into it. We're talking about Noroi, the Curse from 2005, directed by Koji Shiraishi. Shiraishi. Written by Koji Shiraishi and Naoyuki Yokota. The characters are Masafumi Kobayashi, Kana, Junko Ishii, Marika, and Mitsuo Hori. And the description of this movie I got from IMDb, and it is a prominent paranormal journalist, Kobayashi, goes missing shortly after completing a documentary. What begins as an investigation into strange noises soon evolves into the chilling mystery of a demonic entity named Kagutaba. Damn, that's just reading that description is scary.
Yeah.
All right, Mia.
I like that description. Short and simple, doesn't give away a ton. Yes.
So how did you feel about this movie? Well, let me just say this. Let me ask this: did it live up to the found footage standards?
Um, I feel like yeah. I mean, some of it was a little. I think that the fetus and Kana scene was a little weird looking.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look really. It looked like CGI'd or something. It didn't look like natural. But the rest of it, I feel like was pretty good. I don't think I had a problem with it at any point. I mean, I did question why the husband just wouldn't put down the camera.
Yeah.
That seemed a little ridiculous.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest um gripe I have with it. You know, I mean, I guess all found footage is like that, right? Like you're trying to find this balance of,
They normally find a more creative way though to
yeah,
still get the shot.
yeah,
And this didn't do that as much. Like you would just have people like still holding the camera on a certain subject even though like something crazy is happening.
yeah, and the main character, Kobayashi, didn't strike me as the guy you gotta get this no matter what, you know?
Yeah.
Like in
That's
Wreck,
yeah.
that the she's a news reporter and she's just really trying to make it and trying to
Hmm.
catch something incredible. So I can
Yeah.
believe that, but I don't know, I couldn't believe Kobayashi as
He
his
just seemed like
wife is being burned alive, just still holding the camera, you know?
I think the thing is they could have set him up that way. Yeah, as like the like super I need to get this shot no matter what type of personality because it does say he's a prominent paranormal journalist.
Hmm.
But it seems like as the story goes on and stuff, he's just trying to help. Like yes, he's trying to get the truth and he's trying to like still make a documentary at the end of the day, but it seems like he genuinely does care about helping these people.
Yeah.
I mean, he adopted the boy in the end and then watches the boy get hit with a rock and doesn't put the camera down to like help. So that was just like where it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense coming from his character the way the character was set up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's I mean, we have to see it as a spectator, right?
Yeah, but again, that's where you get like creative.
Yeah, you get
Like
creative.
I guess at the point where the wife was burning herself, he wasn't I don't think he was holding it anymore. I think he had been hit with the rock himself and so he was like on the ground in pain.
Yeah.
And so he had already dropped the camera and that's it happened to have that angle. Um so that like can make sense, but he was literally holding it when he was trying to stop the guy from hurting the kid and like was still like getting the shot as he was kind of with one hand trying to stop the guy. And it was like, no, if you see a kid getting hit with a rock, like you use your whole body to protect that child and get that person off of them. Like,
Hmm.
how did you feel about the acting?
Yeah, I feel like there were some minor characters that I don't know if that was the direction or they were just not great actors, you know?
Like who?
Like some of the people that he was interviewing.
Okay.
And I don't know. How did you feel about it?
I didn't like one of the main people,
Which one?
the Marika or
Mer
America or
America?
whatever. America. I thought she was real bad.
Yeah. Hmm.
She, I think she played the like nice, kind of like cutesy, innocent character, like fine, whatever. She was playing herself too. But like I guess she like is somebody. So maybe I'm like really being mean and insulting some famous person from Japan. I'm sorry if that's the case. But just like her like crying scene and things where she like had to be like intensely afraid or like really upset when she was talking about her um the girl upstairs
Yeah.
that died. It was like supposed to be like a lot more emotional and it just looked like she was like really trying really hard and forcing it out and then it like I was like, man, there's like no tears coming like at all. And then it like cuts away from her and then cuts back to her having some tears like dropping by down from her face and she's like squeezing her eyes really hard. It looks like they just went and put the stuff to make you cry in her eyes or like put some drops in her eyes and she's like really I just I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that. I feel like I'm just way too focused on the subtitles. This is a Japanese
Yeah.
film, by the way.
It was just such a close-up shot of her and her face in that moment that I was like, why would you choose this shot if it's not that powerful of a performance? But I don't know. Maybe she's cute and so she can get away with it.
So what did you think about overall the story of it?
Um, so I kind of like movies that have some like folk horror, like some old, like, this has like the village and the rituals that this village would do. And I like things from other countries that like have that type of stuff. I mean, The Wailing
Mm-hmm.
kind of had similar, and there's these like big ritual things to do. Um, so I liked that aspect of it. I don't know if I dig deeper if there's like these like, you know, deeper message and stuff that I would find and about like, maybe the fact that about babies and abortions or something, like I don't so
Yeah, that was maybe just for shocking.
that's what yeah, I was like, are they just because in the original like ritual or whatever, it was like monkeys,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like monkey babies that they used, but in this one the lady was taking like human fetuses from an abortion clinic
Yeah.
and they were doing like really late term abortions which was illegal there and um yeah, I didn't know if that was just, yeah, like you said, like for the shock of it or if there was like something more there that they were trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I was completely engaged towards the end. Like nothing was scaring me anymore. I think that first section when we still don't know what the heck was going on and that one group goes to the forest and she sees something in the forest. I think
Mm-hmm.
I was still like, damn, what is it? Like, am I gonna see something in the footage? And then we finally see it. But then after that, I don't think it felt that way. Like, I didn't get that same thrill
Yeah.
anymore.
I mean, it felt very early found footage, like, early in that, like when found footage was still like a newer thing. I mean,
Hmm.
it's from 2005. I mean, it still wasn't like super new at that time, but um, yeah,
So,
I don't think anything was scary to me,
yeah,
and
I think that yeah, I think they messed up with the CGI.
yeah,
I think that that scene could have with the little girl and the fetuses could have been done practically and just turned on the night vision because already the night vision the camera's not like a high quality camera, So you
Yeah.
still wouldn't be able to see everything. And then especially if you turn on the night vision, I think it would have been better if they had done something practical, like, I don't know, have like little things moving around to
I
represent
mean,
the fetuses and the little girl standing there.
I think it would have been interesting, maybe just to show like bones, like a bunch of like clearly like baby bones or something, you know?
Yeah.
And
Some
then kind of in like the middle of that, because like you wouldn't even need to get that graphic then. You could just kind of show like that, like scattered around all around her, and so that you can be like, wow, that's actually like a lot that this lady took. And then also, then you could have had the like baby crying sound
hmm
to show that the baby's spirits are there, that these aren't just bones, that the spirits are there too. Um, yeah, you know me, I didn't like all the animal stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
A lot of pigeons, a lot of dogs, and they just really, from that first clip with the like dead pigeons, it was like, okay, let's zoom in on this one. Okay, let's get the shot of this other one, and then this other one. It's like, I get it, it's a dead pigeon. I don't need to keep seeing it. Like, and then they just did that with like anytime there was like a dead animal on screen, it was like we have to show a close up of this and do it like multiple times and for a long period of time. Like, I'm like, did you just spend a lot of money on these like props or something? Like, why are you putting so much time into looking at this?
Yeah. Yeah, I think well, what did you think about the last scene? The very last scene
Remind me.
where um Hori comes and tries to kill the boy.
Oh, I mean, that's not the last scene.
What is the last
Uh,
scene?
because I mean, the last scene is like when,
Oh, when it like it zooms out from the found footage. I can't remember what the last scene is.
because the people get the box with the video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's that's the video that they get.
Yes. So
Yeah,
that's
we're. I mean, I guess it
anyway,
just.
I don't remember
Yeah.
what the last scene is, but what did you
Wow.
think of that scene? The one,
Wow. We're really bad. I mean, I guess that is like the last scene, sort of. Um, what did I think of that?
yeah.
I mean, okay, the way this movie was going, I was kind of like, I guess I'm used to like some more like modern films, and not even modern, because I guess a modern one would be a little more like this. Um, I I'm used to ones from like 10 years ago where you would have a lot more jump scares and scary stuff happening throughout.
hmm
This one is like a little weird thing here or there, but nothing like major. And then like things kind of go down at the end very quickly.
Yeah.
And like, about halfway through, I figured that's what it was going to be like. And I feel like a lot more movies are like that nowadays again. Um, so I was expecting that. I guess it still just never went as crazy as I was expecting. I'm not mad about that,
Yeah.
but it's just I don't know that I like really gained anything from watching this.
hmm
I don't feel like I found it like scary enough. I found like a lot of the plot interesting. I liked the beginning. I really liked the setup and the like showing the kids in this like that are psychics doing these experiments and little things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just never.
I think there are some interesting shots though that I would want to rewatch again. For example, that last scene of the kid's face messed up, and
Yeah,
because that kind of cements this whole weird mask thing.
yeah. No, I liked that. And then it shot back to him and his face was like
Was
bloody but
just
still kind of
bloody.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that. Also, I was wondering though, because like the little girl drew that mask,
hmm
right?
Yeah.
In that experiment. And then the Kobayashi has that part later on where his camera messes up and it shows all those faces.
Hmm.
And I was like, why is he not drawing the connection between those faces and that camera, like when it glitched, and then the girl that drew the mask?
Yeah.
Like he never talked about
I
that.
mean,
Was
he's
until like way later on when they were at that thing where Kana was with all the fetuses. Then he was like, the thing that she drew.
he seems to be aloof the whole time.
Yeah,
And even the camera operator, like at some point the camera operator has to go, "What the fuck? I'm out of here," you know? But no, he's just quiet and just but then like in one scene he like tries to save America and like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay, I guess the cameraman is an active participant in this movie."
yeah.
But then later on when they find the hanged woman, like he's just like he's not speaking at all and you know the main guy's just documenting everything.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even think about that with like the other cameraman. I guess I just didn't even pay attention to the fact that there like was someone else there. Like I wasn't even thinking about it as another person behind the camera at a lot of the
I mean,
moments
I didn't either. And
until he finally is there. Yeah.
yeah, I thought, okay, maybe this is just gonna be the style, like the camera operator doesn't speak, but then he
Hmm.
does, and he has an active role during one of the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, oh, this is a guy that's been there the whole time. I mean, he was there when he was looking at when they were looking for the apartment and stuff, but
But
they
like,
just really didn't show him very much.
how much more human and just more personal would it have been, like in Wreck, where the guy holding the camera is just like speaking the whole time to the news lady and saying like, I don't know if we should capture her, like shit's going down, man. Like I don't know if I want to do this, you know?
I think part of my problem with this film is like I feel like it just wasn't effective for me and what it was trying to do. I don't feel like it ever felt like super urgent necessarily.
Yeah.
Like they didn't seem like they were like racing against a clock when in reality they probably were. It just I didn't understand what the a demon or whatever it was like after. I didn't understand the whole thing about worms. I actually really liked the Hori character.
Mm-hmm.
I I think that's a like really interesting idea to someone who's a super psychic in quotation marks. Like I guess if you're like seeing all these things all the time or like hearing these voices or like anything like and it's so intense that you can't quiet it in your head, like you would kind of go a little crazy.
Yeah.
So like I liked that,
Yeah.
he was a little crazy.
I liked him too.
I
So
think I was more interested in him than some of the other stuff.
so I have a question.
Hmm.
So this is a found footage film that was edited?
So it's
Like was this just so this was an unreleased edited episode? Is that what it is?
of his of
Yes.
Kobayashi's.
Like it's not like a completely raw thing. It's not like, oh, then Kobayashi sent the footage to them and now it's all just raw footage. Like no, it was
No,
edited.
it's he like completed it and then that's what they show you and then it cuts to them getting a tape from him and then they showed that one
Uh,
too. So it's yeah, it's supposed to basically be
like but it was never aired. Like I can't remember what.
I don't think so. I mean, he went missing and his
Okay.
wife died and everything, so they probably wouldn't have shown that.
Hmm.
It was just weird because like they never mentioned like the fact that him and his wife adopted a boy before the house fire and that the boy was missing too. Like, but I
Yeah.
guess they didn't, want to reveal that twist
Yeah.
or or that spoiler too early. I don't.
Yeah, there's just a lot of those moments where I'm like, it's not complete. it's not very cohesive at some
Yeah.
parts. Even like when that ghost figure appears in the forest, and then we find out, oh, I just decided to keep it from her because I didn't want to scare her. I was like, no, you decided to
Hmm.
keep it from the viewer just because you didn't want to reveal it yet. You know?
Yeah.
Things like that were just a little weird for me.
Yeah. I mean, I like that it didn't have a bunch of jump scares and like, you know, it tried to like just have some like creepy moments, and there were some moments where you're like, is there something there? But I just, yeah,
I just wanted more.
yeah. I just don't know like what its point was, if it
Hmm.
was trying to say something, which not every movie like needs to necessarily, but I just don't feel like it really went anywhere like super interesting. The stakes never felt like super high where I was like really worried about these people.
Yeah.
I just,
No,
yeah,
I feel the same way. There is some parts I like, but overall I think there's just something missing about it that it just didn't do it for me.
yeah, yeah, a lot of ideas there I liked, just execution overall. And yeah, I mean, I liked Kobayashi as a character. I didn't dislike him. Um, there were interesting things. I was wanting more like connection with, like when the all the people committed suicide in the park, and it was like, oh, this was that one lady from the hospital, and this was that boy from the apartment, and I'm like, well, who are the other people though? Like I wanted to keep like looking at the faces and seeing if I like saw them before or something, and I was pretty good at following
Hmm.
along with it, I feel like, and I knew like who the characters were by names and looks and stuff, which sometimes
Yeah.
in movies, when somebody's mentioned really briefly, you don't always remember, but they talked about Anna's dad killing her mom, and
Yeah.
as soon as they mentioned the name, I was like, oh, that's her parents, right? And
Why did America's upstairs neighbor commit suicide? Like, what was that connection? Just 'cause America is nearby?
yeah, I don't who was who was the one stealing the babies? That was the Junko?
Yeah, yeah. Junko
Okay.
Ishii.
Did they work at the same place?
Oh, the neighbor?
Yeah,
America's
right?
neighbor? Oh, I don't know, maybe.
'Cause didn't she work at like a hospital or clinic or something too?
Maybe. Hmm.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Then yeah, that's I guess yeah, just Junko Ishii is the main connection to all of them. If that's true. I would have to watch this movie again, but I don't want to watch it.
Is she-
Yeah.
I just what what about the mom and the daughter at the beginning of the film? Because they got in a car crash. The daughter was found too, though, because it would have been more interesting if like the daughter was missing, right? Because that'd be like another kid that Junko like took.
Yes. I'm forgetting who died in a car crash?
In the very beginning, there's Junko's neighbors.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. The
Yeah,
very
'cause that's
first.
when you see the little boy in the window.
Yeah, and then the no, no, both of them died, right? The mom and the daughter.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
says. It says the mom and the daughter died in a car crash. But I just thought it would have been more interesting if the daughter, like,
went missing.
yeah, because it was like, what was the point of that? And then she just like she
Yeah,
moved anyway, right? So why did she like
yeah.
keep moving places? Like,
I remember you laughing at that part because it is kind of funny. It's like you're supposed to take this seriously, but then all of a sudden in subtitle it says they died 2 weeks later or something like that.
Yeah. It was just the way like it was mentioned was very like it felt like it was trying too hard.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes like the music and some of it felt kind of like cheesy. It was like what, but I guess it's kind of like what you would see in that like old type of like documentary
Hmm.
or like crime
That's why,
show
yeah,
or something.
that's why I was asking if it was raw footage or edited footage. But now that you say it's edited, yeah, it would make sense that that music is there.
Hmm.
And but then again, like I don't know if that adds to our like emotional um like I don't know if that adds anything for as the viewer.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's detrimental that that music is there.
I mean, maybe like 20 years ago, this was scarier and it was more like, because it is, for the most part, it is shot as something that like seems like pretty realistic
Hmm.
until, the fetus scene. Like all the other stuff, like, you know. So maybe if you were like a younger viewer and you and all your friends were talking about how this is like actually real or something, like maybe it'd be creepy in that sense or something, but
Here's the thing though. I feel like we're being slightly too harsh on this movie because it is from 2005.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
20 years ago, maybe this would have been,
But
scarier.
yeah, but
And if I was younger,
yeah, I'm saying that that scene specifically though, maybe it would have had a different
oh,
hit.
I just feel like it looked like CGI. When everything else didn't, it just
Yeah.
stuck out.
I mean,
Like the scene with the boy in his head, that didn't look bad.
no.
That part was like really well done. It was just like, I don't know, the babies just looked weird. But it's also like that's not how like the fetuses would be positioned and stuff, right? It just
Yeah.
seemed weird the way they were positioned.
And one of them's crawling like on her shoulder, right, or something.
Yeah, they just looked like they were like almost like floating or something like all around her. That's I think what like my main issue is with it. And they were like the coloring was weird. Weren't they like kind of like a like tealish bluish type thing or something? It just all looked weird. And that's like, one of like the big scary moments I feel like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know if it would have hit different for me if I had seen it when it came out. I mean, it was probably really scary, right?
I mean, I don't know, when did Blair Witch come out?
Good
What
question.
was it like 99 or everything was 99? Yep, 99. What did I know? Why did so much come out in 1999? So yeah, I saw that when I was 9, and I didn't find that scary, but a lot of people did.
And this movie came out in the US as
So
well?
it's on IMDb, it said Japan 2005, and then it said the US, it was released on the internet in 2017, I think, or something. So I'm
Uh,
not exactly sure. But again, that's what I mean. Like maybe it's one of those things where if you just put this online at that time and just like let people from different countries or something, like if I was like 13 years old at that time and, like the internet's kind of like still relatively new to that generation and you find this movie on a website with like no information about it and it's being passed around and people are like, do you think this is real? It probably would have been like, a fun watch
hmm.
and creepy. But yeah, nowadays I just don't. I'm not mad that it wasn't scary. I just don't feel like the story was good enough overall.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm the same way. I feel the same way.
And just because something's a low budget or a found footage doesn't mean that this story has to be bad because there's like stuff done really well. And there's stuff that's like, not the best that I still really enjoy. And I didn't hate this again, but it ended and I was just kind of like, whatever.
So overall, are you glad that you watched it?
Uh, I don't think I care either way. It's been something I've heard of. I've heard it mentioned like a couple times from
Hmm.
like different things, but it was on my like watch list. Like I did want to watch it at some point, but I'm not mad that I watched it, but I don't feel like I was like missing out by not having seen this.
Yeah.
What about you?
I I'm glad that I watched it. I think I was really when I first chose this movie, I was really interested in seeing what Japan is doing with the found footage film. And yeah, I just wanted to see.
I mean, I always like seeing things from different countries. I like to see what, you know, they have to offer.
But it wasn't like the worst movie ever. Like I still think it has
No,
some great merits, and I think
there's things that, again, I really liked. I liked the ideas of certain things. I just feel like at the end of the day, it just didn't feel like it. Even like the way it ended wasn't like a happy ending.
hmm.
Like Kobayashi was missing. His wife burned herself alive in front of him, which is really horrible. The little boy is missing. And then Hori was found dead in a duct. Was that him trying to like get into metal once again? Did he try and like squeeze himself in there and then just died? Or
I
like did something squeeze him in there? I feel like he did that to himself, even though it looked really horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, his foot was all the way bent towards his
Yeah.
face, so maybe something
But
demony did
also
get him.
like maybe when he was just like in a complete bad mental state,
Yeah.
panicking and stuff, because clearly he was not like in his right mind when he was like trying to kill the kid. Do you think he was wrong for trying to kill the kid?
No.
Yeah, right. That's what I was like. I was so surprised that the Kobayashi took the kid like into like his home and everything with like no questions of like if this kid had any like darkness in him or anything
Yeah.
because the kid just didn't react to like anything the whole time when bad stuff was happening. He was just kind of so like blank. But I guess yeah, as an adult, like you ideally should just be seeing a child as like innocent, not as some like demonic
I would, yeah,
thing.
if I were him, I wouldn't have adopted him.
Yeah,
Like, this kid's messed up. Like, I don't want to have
yeah.
to deal with that.
But
But,
maybe he like, couldn't help Kana, so it was like, let me help this boy instead. But again, he just never like it seemed like he cared and he wanted to help, but they just didn't show that like I don't know. Like the time Kobayashi looked the most like intense was when Hori was running away calling for Kana and
yeah.
he was like chasing him like that. I'm like, why is this the moment where you seem like the most desperate to like chase after and help? Every other thing, even like when Hori's like taking the rock to the kid, he's just like he's yelling, but he's like not throwing down the camera and his wife is like, starting to set herself on fire. And then yeah, he does end up grabbing the camera after she's already done it. Yeah, that's right. It's like, what are you doing? Yeah, it was weird. So yeah, I don't know. This is just kind of a meh to me with some really interesting parts.
Noroi, the curse.
So
Anyway,
yeah.
that's the end, I guess, unless you have anything more to say about it.
No, but let me find the name of what we're watching next.
Okay, what are we watching?
Okay.
Is it a new
Mm,
one or an old one?
it is older.
Older.
We've seen one movie from this director before.
Okay.
Um, did he direct? Yeah, he was the director, right? And I think he wrote it. Yeah. So he wrote and directed When Evil Lurks. Do you remember that one?
Remind me.
It's Demian Rugna. Rugna. He is from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Hmm.
Does do you think you know where When Evil Lurks is from then? It's Argentina.
Oh, that's like the weird where they have like a weird virus.
Yes. So it's that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Before that, he did a movie called Terrified or Aterrados. I don't think it's going to be as good as When Evil Lurks, but I think it's got some interesting visuals maybe, and I don't know, I liked that one a lot.
Oh, aterrados. Okay.
So I'm curious to see something else from him. Since we already saw When Evil Lurks, I don't want to like rewatch that and do that right now. Maybe one day we will, because I actually liked that one. That one had some things I don't know if I understood well, no. Yeah. I would say I really like that one.
Yeah.
So yeah. This one is from 2017, whereas When Evil Lurks was from 2023, so 6 years between them, but the poster looks pretty interesting. Guess you haven't seen it yet. Let's see.
No, I already saw it.
Oh, did you?
I looked
Okay.
it up.
It looks interesting, right?
It does.
So we'll see.
It looks kind of like Resident Evil.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be next week. Another movie with subtitles. At least that one you'll be able to understand, right?
Yeah. Cool. So yeah,
You and your bilingual self.
that marks the end of our podcast for today. Thank you for listening. I still don't know how to end these things, but you've been watching, you've been listening. No, you're not watching anything, you're listening. You've been listening, living in fear. I'm your co-host Luis,
Mia.
and we're still living in fear. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.